With every passing moment, thoughts of you run through my head. Every time that I'm near you, I realize that you're heaven sent, baby. I think you're truly something special.
Hey everyone, Kim here from the All Balm. I am at John Hay High School for a mother-daughter event. I'm going to have my table set up. We're going to take part in the festivities and pass out samples. I have JJ here with me helping today.
Program ready for everyone. I'd like to take this time to introduce our Say Yes coordinator, Donna Dixon. And our facilitator for tonight is Ms. Cato. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Cato.
And then on the other end of that is also just talking to moms and their experiences with teenage daughters. So myself and Ms. Dixon over here, we kind of came together last year and just said, hey, what can we do during Women's History Month to really celebrate both mothers and daughters. So I'm just continuing to be glad that we can create a space for conversation and growth and healing and love. Last year was really dynamic and powerful. My mom and I were on the panel, and I can say that leaving that evening, some things that I've always thought about and wanted to know the reasons why certain things happen, it was actually expressed throughout that panel in conversation. So there was a lot of transformative work that was happening, not just for myself and my mom, but also the other mothers and daughters that were here at this event. So I hope this evening can begin the work, even if it's nothing going on with you and your mom. I just feel like there's always room to grow with one another, and so we just hope that tonight can be that starting space for you all to be just open and communicative with one another.
And I am the founder and owner of Mother to Mother, which is a nonprofit organization for caregivers and parents of individuals with disabilities.
How long have you?
6 years. So we were founded in 2017, and we have a huge community of parents that we offer support, resources, education. I'm also a Christian counselor, and the owner of Matters of the Heart Christian Counseling Service.
All right, thank you so much. You guys check her out. This is important. Everybody doesn't talk about disabilities or the problems as far as dealing with disabilities and children with disabilities. So
I agree 100%. They don't.
Okay, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for doing what you do.
Absolutely.
All right.
Of you run through my head. Every time that I'm near you.
So before I begin, I would like to ask the elders in the room if I have your permission to begin. Any elders in the room? Do I have your permission to begin? Yes. Thank you. The name of this poem is called Just Between Us. Women's Month is the buffer to all the current and incoming mothers. Mother's Day, which is next. Let's keep it in that order and now bring light to our daughters. Community, look what you discovered. A connection between a mother and a daughter. It's time to put this one on the books. So everyone, let's hook a crook. A bond that is so divine. A birth of a girl with the thoughts of draping her in pearls. A creation of a generation that brings heavy tears and maybe some fears. As you see her toddling the moves and the swings, it's only a matter of time before she enters those preteens. The love that is shared can never be compared. With this pair, it's hard to see one without seeing the other. Just like her mother, we all know the saying, a badge of honor and pride received allows us to smile and remain at ease. Innovation and motivation, our daughters display in such a creative way. Jazzy and sassy with direction to instruct. We know who holds this role as a lesson is about to be told. I ask all the mothers and daughters today to stand together in making this commitment to we and repeating after me. So can all the mothers and daughters please stand today. So again, I'm going to ask you all to repeat after me and make this commitment to we. Our care will remain. Our care will remain. Our care will remain. Despite the pain. Despite the pain. Our hearts open to each other. Our hearts open to each other. Regardless if we dislike the significant other. Regardless if we dislike the significant other. Our work towards our health. Our work towards our health. Will be supportive and devoted. Will be supportive and devoted. I love you, mother. I love you, mother. I love you, daughter. I love you, daughter. The journey around Mother Earth. The journey around Mother Earth. Will be special with no plus. Will be special with no plus. Because this is. Because this is. Just between us. Just between us. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Morris. I'm a licensed independent social worker with supervisor designation. I co-own New Heights Counseling Center with Jessica Thomas. And we're here at John Hay this evening to celebrate and connect mothers and their daughters. We do individual therapy at New Heights. And we also do communities and in schools for social and emotional learning.
All right, thank you so much.
Everybody is on the panel, except for you're kind of in that age where, like, you know, Dominique's an 11th grader, Serenity is in the 8th grade, and you just finished college, but going to your high school journey, you know that it's difficult with those disagreements with our mom figures and grandmothers. How are you able to communicate your perspectives without being either angry or angry, or how do you receive when you know, like, well, I know I'm wrong. I show up without being angry. How do you communicate that with your, especially when you're feeling the type of way you like to say?
So to piggyback on what my mother said, there will be times where I know she's wrong, but she may not think she's wrong. And like she said, she would apologize. And be times where I may have an attitude or not really feeling you, I get quiet, you know, I distance myself a little bit, but once I'm ready to talk, you know, I will always know we will have a conversation and talk about it. Back then, well, I would say most times, other than just being distant with each other a little bit, she would just ask, you hungry? Or you okay? Or something like that, and we'd be right back fine.
That we're regardless of if you have a challenging day or not, communication is key. We want to keep those lines of communication open. I want us to think for a second, when those lines of communication falls apart, right? When those challenges arise with one another, when you face adversity because a situation may happen, you may not disagree. How do you keep those lines of communication open again? How do you keep pushing forward even when you are facing adversity or challenges or disagreements? How do you keep that open where it can still be respectful, understanding, and that both perspectives are heard equally?
I try to hold myself accountable. Like if I know I was in the wrong, I have no problem, going to China and apologizing. I don't want her to feel that, I think that, I'm right all the time, especially with her being an adult. So I just try to make sure that she understands that, I understand her perspective and we can, get through it. I try not to stay angry because I don't want her to feel like she can't come to me and talk to me. So I think the way we resolve things is, just trying to move past it. If it's a big issue, we will revisit it, but if it's something small, we just try, to move past that. So I just try to hold myself accountable, and when I've done something wrong, I have no problem apologizing.
Even when it's not to give up, keep trying, keep trying. Especially the parents, right? A lot of the burden of kind of eating some of the stuff may not want to deal with is on us. So take care of yourself so that you can take care of your babies, right? So take care of yourself so you can kind of check the stuff that feels like offense, that feels like triggers for you, so that you do have an open heart and an open ear. One of the things we encourage in our girls groups too is just to kind of keep it light a little bit, especially if times are kind of tight, the conversation is tense. So do something like play Jenga, pull a card, pull a block, answer a question, right? So you can kind of reopen those lines. So you and your daughter are playing, or son, or whomever, want to take a turn. Okay, if you were a superhero, what would be your, superpower? If you were a cartoon character, who would you be? So just kind of keep it light. It starts to open up the pathways of conversation, bring those guards down. And this is something I try to practice myself too, not just advice that I give. So, but don't give up. Don't quit. Don't give up. It's when times are tight, it's when we need to talk more. And that's one of the things I see that kind of falls by the wayside. It's like, everybody kind of retreats to their room or retreats to their phone because it's easier to avoid than it is to confront. And so, get together, connect, talk, even if it's about something small. Parents look for those opportunities for one-on-one time. I always do. I got my 10-year-old with me today. It's like, okay, just ride with me. Just, you want to run to the store, even if we don't really have nowhere to go, or nothing to go get, you just want to go with me to just have some one-on-one time. So,
I appreciate blank about you. You make my life better because you inspire me, because I admire your blank. I'm thankful for our relationship because you can compliment their physical appearance if you like. I love being around you because, or I need you because, and I love that you understand blank about me. So take a few minutes and think those through. If you want to raise your hands, I can go through the list again for you if you need some inspiration. But that's what we're going to do. So take the next 5 minutes or so and just kind of see how many you can come up with.
feel like she's getting emotional, I know her. So I'm like, I back off, I back off. And I'm like, well, if this is not a good time to talk, or I check in, is this good? And so I had to learn, because initially I didn't. I was on the young mom. I want to talk right now, and boundaries. So I had to learn as well as a young mother, and we evolved to pass so that I have a better relationship with my daughter, because that's what I wanted. There's nothing that I wouldn't do for her. So I just never wanted to see her cry, never wanted to see her hurt. I had to learn to check in with her, see, is this a good time? If she seemed like I said, if she seemed like she's emotional, I'm gonna back off for a minute and let her tell me. I said, okay, when you're ready, you can come talk to me. There's nothing that you can't talk to me about. I'm not gonna judge you for anything. I'm your mom. So I'm going to love you. There's no condition to that. I love you unconditionally. So when you're ready, when you feel like you're ready, please know, that I got you and I got your back. So that's what I would say. Sometimes we have to learn. We know our children. We know them. So just look at your child. If it looks like it's not the best time, back off. Once you have an opportunity to talk, keep that effective. Again, it's not even just communication. The communication has to be effective. Because we can talk all day long, but if that communication is not effective, we're not really resolving anything at all. So we just need to make sure we're listening and establishing what the boundaries are for each one of us. And you learn and you transition through that. Again, it's a marathon. It's a journey that you go through with your daughter. You learn from each other.
And then if she has something going on, I get angry because I feel like, no, you're my mother. You should always be available for me to hear my thoughts, what's going on. If I need to vent, you need to always be available. But I recognize, similar to me, if she is not in the space to be able to communicate at that time, it is okay. And I need to be able to respect that and to be able to circle back and be like, hey mom, let me check in on you. How are you doing? Because let's show of hands. How often do we really check in on our mother? Do we check in on them to see how they're doing? Okay, I see just maybe some adults in here, and I don't see a lot of, the young ones in here. But we have to check in on our mothers because they are special people too, and they care for us just as much as we care for them. But just a simple text throughout the day, when you can, not in the school building, but when you can, just a simple check in with them, or when you come home, hey mom, how was your day? Can I sit with you for a little bit?
The hardest thing that China and I had to experience together was the passing of my mother in 2008. I was 32 when China was 8 years old, and we got through that together, even though she was 8. She was close to my mom, and I was close to my mom, so it's like we both lost a mother, and because of that, her and I, we grew stronger, and I drew so much strength out of this 8-year-old. She was 8. It was uplifting and encouraging for me, and then we just recently lost my mother's twin, my aunt, her great aunt or her aunt, and even then, like China she was my backbone. She was my strength. She just pushed me. We talked it through. A lot of times when you're grieving, you think you have to grieve by yourself, but we grieved together. And I think that was the hardest thing that we had to go through. And it just made us closer. And we overcame that. And just, talking it through and sharing memories and just knowing that a bond between a mother and daughter is something that, sometimes is taken for granted. So I appreciate you, China. I love you. There's nothing in this world that I would not do for you. Thank you for being my best friend. Thank you for being somebody that I can count on, and just somebody who has always been in my corner, drawing from your strength, knowing that, you look at me as a wonderful person, and I look at you as a wonderful person. So I just want to thank you for that, and thank you for being on this panel with me. This is the first time that we've done something like this together.
This was a beautiful event. There were a lot of tears, there were a lot of hugs, and there was just a lot of bonding. And it was very, very nice. I'm glad I made it. I'm glad I came. Passed out samples, passed out my cards. I wasn't that concerned today about making sales. I was just glad to come and be supportive. We are almost done packing it up, getting ready to go. Sorta. I got journals for you. Okay, so you can take one home for you and for your mom. All right, let's wrap this up, yo. Let's go.